Caitlin Live on your radio. Guest host April Marie Fogle here. AJ trying to keep me out of trouble. Every hour that gets harder and harder as the caffeine kicks in. I'm gonna be bouncing off the walls like a little ping pong ball in here. If you're watching the YouTube live stream, you can I'm sneaking sips of my coffee as my favorite person, one of my favorite people, Brian Dawson on the line, rants about the crazy corruption that we've got in our education system, the rot in our state. And here's the thing is there are a number, I say love. I actually am only personally friends with a handful, but we have a super majority in the legislature in this state and members that I love who are not doing enough, in my opinion, to fight back about the AEA's influence in this state. And here's the thing is, if the AEA wants it's to distance itself entirely from the NEA, first off, that's not going to be enough because, as Brian said, and Brian, welcome back to the program.
Glad to be here.
It's not enough for them to just distance themselves from the NEA because they did in fact show their cards when they invested so heavily in a Democrat, a liberal Democrat in Mobile, but it should be enough that they won't distance themselves from the NEA. They have get out of the way. Get out of the way and let's support charter schools. Let's support school choice. Let's not vilify homeschool parents and act like kids are in danger if they're being homeschooled. There's a lot where we could do and gain ground in education in Alabama. I want to ask you two questions. The first question is, of the education stories we've done, K-12 and colleges, what are you most proud of at 1819 News looking back in this last year?
Well, first, let me just say, this is going to sound self-serving to butter you up while you've got the microphone here, but you came on and started really just showing that you've got incredible investigative skills as a journalist. It's one thing to be a beat reporter; it's another thing to be an investigative journalist. And once we realized you had those chops, we put you into this role to where your primary focus now is the Center of Education, which is this full-orbed an investigative deep dive into K through 12, AEA, Education Trust Fund, and the universities. And you've done a phenomenal job. And to pick one story that I'm most proud of would be very challenging because you're weekly putting out stories that each one seems to be better than the rest. But I think it's so hard between what you've done with Auburn and what you've done with Samford. And the reason...
Yeah, I would say those are both.
Yeah. And the reason is for both of those schools is because both of those schools have so much potential to do so much good, and they just refuse to do the hard work of getting this rot out from their institutions that would allow them to be. We could have a Hillsdale and a Liberty University type setup right here in Alabama, but they just refuse to get rid of them. And they're like, well, we're more conservative than the other schools. It's like, well, that's not the standard.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No.
And it's not about being conservative. It just means not allowing this woke, crazy progressive nonsense to gobble up all of your professors and all of the curriculum. But what you did at Samford, being able to show, everything from the blatant anti-white racism coming from professors at a Christian university who have renounced Christ and are actually apostates who are helping to deconstruct the faith of students at a Christian university is insane, and that nothing is being done about it. People literally burning pages of the Bible and all this other stuff. That was really incredible, and it would take us the full 4-hour show to go into everything that you uncovered at Samford University. I will say the work that you've done at Auburn, the people at Auburn, the Board of Trustees, and the people that we've been dealing with, at least in my experience, are much more open
that was
to
surprising
making
to me.
changes.
Yeah,
What's that?
Auburn has had a more receptive of change than Samford University. If I had to kind of boil down, that was shocking to me.
Yeah. And, but the stuff that you're seeing at Auburn University, it's just, to quickly sum it up, we'll go back a little bit. We exposed a middle school teacher at Drake Middle School, which is in the city of Auburn, who was grooming students. He was a music teacher.
Bragging
He was grooming
about
students bragging about it, using a podcast that he created specifically for his students because his students had phones, 13-year-old children. And he was saying on the podcast, F your parents. If you want to transition your gender, you go ahead and do it. And then on his Instagram feed that he was feeding to the children in his classroom with phones, he was getting a lap dance from a gay guy in a thong. Just pretty insane stuff. So he gets, he resigns, gets terminated, whatever. He's gone from that city school. 2 or 3 weeks later, Auburn University hires him to coach special needs students. And we put the heat on them about that, and they blew it off. Well, when Charlie Kirk dies, he comes out on his social media and blasts Charlie Kirk and says, rest in.
Oh, what a
I'm not even going to say
horrific.
what he said.
No,
Yeah, just
he
horrific the things that he
disgusting.
said, and then Auburn gets rid of him. It's like, guys, if you would have just listened to us, we could have told you that the guy weeks prior to you hiring him to coach autistic students was grooming 13-year-olds with a podcast. Maybe that's not a good qualification to be on staff at Auburn University. Is that your last job was one that was terminated because you're a pervert?
Well,
Maybe that's a good standard, right? And so. But even, and you would be able to explain this in more detail, how laced this woke ideology about pushing transgenderism and homosexuality. You're not even talking in social studies. This was at like an engineering school in the construction field where they literally said, hey, what we're about to teach you seems like it's against the law,
yeah.
because our legislature did pass legislation that said no more divisive concepts, which would include this. Said, but we're actually going to get around that by doing this thing. And then they went ahead and force-fed these engineering construction students a bunch of
Garbage.
gobbledygook about trans rights.
Oh yeah, they made, for those who didn't see that story, it was the Auburn School of Architecture and Architecture and Design, and they basically said, hey, look, there's a loophole that allows, if you are doing an accredited program, for us to go ahead and continue this stuff. And they went beyond the requirements of the accreditation and went full on DEI. And that's one of those few instances where Auburn University didn't do much. They said,
Yeah.
well, we're not going to do that as strong in the back, in the future. But there's no promise of that. There's no way to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's awful.
It's been really interesting watching what's going on here in Alabama, and I love that 1819 and through your podcast. And we'll talk just a little bit about your podcast before we wrap up here. But through your podcast, we've been able to get information about this out and really uncover what's going on and shine a light on it.
Absolutely. No,
Okay.
it's been good. And you're never going to fix, again, it's this weird thing where conservatives think in 4-year election cycles and progressives think in 40-year generation cycles. So they have a long-term strategy that they're executing almost flawlessly to destroy America. Meanwhile, we're like, we got to get our guy elected. We got to get our guy elected. And it's like, that's not, like, we have to be thinking generationally. And if you don't fix the education, if you don't fix the schools, if you don't fix the universities, you can't win long term. And so the greatest battle that we have is the hearts, minds, and souls of the future generation, and that is education, K through 12, and universities. That's an all-out war, and the left understands the power of that to win long term, and so they are invested heavily there. And really, you're not seeing that kind of fight from conservatives except for 1819 News and the work you're doing.
Well, I appreciate you. Acknowledge we have done such great things together. I'm like tongue-tied over here. It's been really cool to have that support. Well, tell our listeners where they can find you online, where they can see your podcast, all of these things.
Sure. So my podcast is 1819 News, the podcast, or on YouTube, it's 1819 Podcast if you just search that. And I do a weekly podcast next at the beginning of the year coming up. We're going to start doing 2 podcasts a week, diving into all kinds of political theories and cultures and history and all the different things that are basically about this culture war and fighting back this long march through the institutions. And, one week we'll have April Marie on to talk about all the stuff that's going on in education. Next, it would be, Senator Tommy Tuberville or Attorney General Steve Marshall or Congressman Barry Moore or whatever. Bring on all these different people, power players in our state that are doing good work. We highlight the work they're doing, and then kind of map out the course forward for how we're going to win.
Yeah, and how we're going to win is we're going to keep going. We're not giving up. Every time we get what I consider a win, having the University of Auburn, Auburn University, go in and undo some of the damage that we have put a light on. It's not like woohoo victory lap. Let's take a break. It's let's push harder. Let's do more. Let's expose more, and let's keep going. So that's great.
Amen.
Well, thanks for taking the time to give us a call, or giving us a call and joining us today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, and big things ahead in 2026 for 1819 News and you and our partnership there at Talk 99.5. We're really excited.
Well, thank you, Brian. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, I've got some messages coming in on social media and text messages, and we'll get to some of those and some of the lighter topics of the day. You guys hold tight. Fun fact, I went to Birmingham, the other Birmingham, for a Dixie Chicks concert. Not that I say not that long ago. It was actually a couple of years. A couple. I was pregnant with my 7-year-old. Where's time going? But a friend said, "Do you want to go see the Dixie Chicks in Birmingham?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was the other Birmingham, but had a great time. It was the second time I saw him in concert. I saw him in concert in Jacksonville, then saw him in concert in the other Birmingham, and they did the whole woke name change thing, but I still love him. Very unpopular opinion, and I got this when I've talked about Taylor Swift in the past. But I absolutely have the ability to listen to woke artists and not particularly care about what their politics is. I say that as I sip a Starbucks, also an incredibly woke organization. Although I saw, man, they're closing like hundreds of stores in the next year. And they closed one here in central Alabama. I want to say it was a Vestavia store recently, but I do. I listen to woke artists, and I listened. Although I did stop listening to Maren Morris. Maren Morris. I don't even know how to say her name, because she was a little too woke for me. But I will listen to the Dixie Chicks, and I will call them the Dixie Chicks, even though technically they're just the Chicks now. Any day of the week, and jam out because it reminds me so much of college, and I'm so far away from college that I need the throwback. April Marie here, filling in for Leland. That was Brian Dawson. I intended to have him on for half hour. I had him on for 45 minutes. Probably could have had him on for another hour. He gets so incredibly passionate about education. And if you have read any of my series, my ongoing story series are stories, and you'll know in the background there has been Brian going, keep digging, and especially he said he doesn't know what it takes to get on the SPLC hate list. The more hate I receive for something, the more Brian's like, you got it, lady, you got it, girl, go girl, because he's fired up. He gets truly fired up by the calls to be quiet. I'll tell you this. So I, of course, probably of all of the schools I've covered in my journalistic career, the one I've covered the most is the Magic City Acceptance Academy, which is right around the corner from the studio. And I covered that before I ever went to 1819. Before they ever got their charter, I was like, no, stop, don't do this. If you're unfamiliar with them or you haven't heard about them in a while, it was started as an LGBTQ school, basically. Okay. So somebody came up with a great genius idea of here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a couple hundred LGBTQ, and I want to put this in air quotes, LGBTQ affirming students, and put them on an island. And then their justification for this was the students are being bullied and the schools are doing nothing. I had a big problem starting at Go on this. One is, since when do you take the victims of any bullying or any crime or anything and say, okay, the solution to this is run away and hide. We're going to put you in your own school. Secondly, it seems to me that the school violated, well, not even talking about how they got the charter to start with, but it violated state charter school law because there was basically a test. Will you call this boy the name he prefers and the pronouns? So will you lie and say that this boy is a he, she, or even crazier? I don't know if it's even crazier or as crazy. Will you go along with the they them nonsense? Because this school is only for students who are affirming. And I always pose the question of what happens, because what we want to have, I say what we want to happen, what I want to happen in life is I want every individual to find their faith, to realize that Jesus Christ is Lord. And I'm a firm believer in this. So what happens if a kid goes to grandma's house over the summer or goes to grandma's house for the holidays? She preaches or shares the gospel or takes them to church or whatever. They come to find the Lord and they're like, God didn't make a mistake. I'm looking around at this classroom and God made each and every one of you wonderfully. And I'm not going to use these other pronouns. I'm not going to call you they, them. I'm not going to buy into this nonsense. Were they going to be kicked out of the school? And the fact of the matter is they were going to be harassed and bullied. And I've heard stories of this. But this school from go has been problematic. It was problematic, just the idea of it, problematic. It was a public school. You want to create a private school, go create a private school. But this is a state sanctioned, state funded private school. Ultimately, the idea was that they were gonna get rid of all the bullying. Well, you look at the school's disciplinary records, and they didn't. Short story. It didn't work. Okay, the school has brought in drag queens multiple times. They have openly bragged about their DEI agenda. Now they started to change this when I did my investigation, as I rolled out a series of articles earlier this year, and then they got in front of the Charter School Commission and told lies to their face. Oh no, we've been following the law. No, you weren't. I caught you. I called you. I have you on audio recording saying you weren't following the laws. Stop blowing smoke. But they got their license renewed. That school, when I covered that school, I got a lot of, oh, she's so full of hate. Oh, she's this and that. But I'll tell you, when I covered Samford University, the Christian college right here in Homewood, I also got hate mail going, there's enough bad outside of the Christian colleges. You don't need to cover the Christian college. What? No, that's not the way we're going to work. We are going to call a spade a spade. It doesn't matter if it's at a horrible school that you can literally tell on the surface this is a bad idea, or it's happening at the school that we love and want to celebrate. We're going to do that. And we have to do that as journalists. Looking at the Somali mess, the hot Somali mess in Minnesota, watching the media start to pick it up and start to reframe the conversation as if asking questions is racist. Uh, I look at it and I say the mainstream media wants us to ignore these stories, and they want to pick and choose. They want to decide what messages are stories. No, that's not what the job of media should be. The gatekeepers of information. You get a story, you talk about it. There's hard news, there's commentary. Obviously, what I'm doing today is commentary, but we need the information out there. And from K-12 to universities, we got to keep paying attention to these, especially as Trump is trying to give the power back to the states. We got to pay attention to what's going on here in the state. All right, we'll be back. I'm going to lighten it up with some top Google searches next. The top Google searches of 2025. You guys hold tight. good afternoon, everyone. April Marie here, filling in for Leland. Um, I'm giggling. Okay, AJ, I've got questions for you. We're gonna have to have AJ put his headphones on. Did you know that Google has a hum to search feature? Oh, I lost him. I can't hear you. Okay. Did you know that Google has a hum to search feature?
No, I did not know that.
So Google does this thing every year where you can look up the most searched terms and the most searched things. So you're going to have to entertain me for a segment here because half of these things I don't actually know what they are, which is rather entertaining to me. But I'm like searching and you can see the trend, what's the trending topic searched, entertainment, and I'm like, okay, these are all normal. And then I get down and it's hum to search, and so sure enough, there is a function where you can just hum the tune and you can know this.
Right.
So the most hummed was the song from K-pop Demon Hunters. Have you seen
Yeah,
or
my wife has
heard
been
this?
into that. I have not watched an episode.
So it's
Well, no. Well, I don't know
watch
if it's
the
an
movie.
episode. It's
It's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie.
See, I could tell you.
yeah, your kids aren't quite old enough. Like when they how
I
old
mean,
is your son?
she had my son watch it thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So K-pop Demon Hunters is on the most search entertainment and the most searched hum to search, the song Golden, which I will admit I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, and I'm all on a bunch of Facebook groups for homeschooling parents and Christian parents and parents trying to avoid crazy things. And there was a heated debate about whether or not you should let your kids watch this movie. And I'm going to be honest, I weigh in on the side of I think you should, because there is basically, and I'm going to ruin it for you if you haven't watched it and we're planning on it, spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
But the underlying theme of the movie is that the devil controls people by shame. And basically, he shames you into thinking you're not good enough to move forward with whatever it is you've got going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the underlining theme of this movie is that is the devil's power and control. And I can say, having lived that, and B, knowing a lot of people who have, shame is a powerful motivator. Like I am stuck in this thing I've been doing, this relationship I'm in, this cycle of behavior, and I'm too far gone, right? Like I'm whatever. And that's a powerful tool, and just the idea. So I had the kids watch the movie and then talked about that. But Golden with the #1 hum to search song, and then I don't know any of the other top songs.
Okay.
Ordinary by Alex Warren, don't know that.
Okay.
Anxiety by Doechii.
Oh, Doja. Doja.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Love Me Not by Rain Lee, no idea what that is, and then Nokia by Drake.
Okay.
Those were the top hum to search songs. The top, okay, this is so random. Top food and lifestyle. Hot honey cottage cheese.
Oh, sounds horrible. But hold on one second. Can we go back to that the hum? Because I'm just thinking to myself, like, when the designer or the engineer who came up with this, they had to kind of like, how do they do research on this?
It's like Shazam, but humming.
Right, because some people hum the wrong tune.
You get all sorts of random.
Yeah, like hummage. Like, it's just like, I just don't understand, like, how do you compile the hummage of a song and be like, oh yeah, that's that song.
That's that about. Song. It's name that tune, but
right.
Humming with, and imagine the people actually doing the search terribly
it's just
out
like
of tune.
When someone sings a song and they sing the wrong lyric.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Right, and then you hum the wrong tune, but you in one song, but you in another. So now they got.
It's a whole thing. You know what? It just tells you how far we've come with technology and AI that it can sort through and figure that out for you.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining like the songs that sample other songs, because there's a lot of those.
But then that's a whole other song, though.
You get double and triple results, and you're like, searching. What is it? Is it Ice Ice Baby? That is a ripoff of something.
Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so so you get a lot of crossover there.
Yeah.
But this is new to me. It wasn't until I clicked this link to discuss this segment that I realized that you could do this. If you use this feature, feel free to call in and tell us.
You know what I do? I do old school. I just Google. I'll Google
lyric?
a portion of the song that I remember, and then I'll put that in the Google search, and
And it'll come up most of the
it
time.
typically comes up. If I know that it has to be the right word, or I try to remember the name or artist or what movie I heard it on,
Yeah.
and then but because if I don't even know how to hum the song, then I'm
Then you're up a creek.
Yeah.
It's what the deal is.
basically.
I use. Do you have Shazam on your phone? I don't know.
I do, and I rarely pull it out.
I do it all the time. I'll do it on TV shows. I'll do it on commercials. I'm like, back that up. I want to know what the full song is. It happens a lot on TV shows where something's playing in the background, and my ADD has me going like I can't concentrate on the dialogue because I'm listening to the song that's in the background.
Yeah.
So I'll pull that up. But yes, new to
Oh,
me.
you're nerdy just like I am. I do the same thing. I don't even know what the scene is. Don't even pay attention. But that song
I know.
in the backdrop, I'll be like, oh yeah, I like that song.
I like that song.
And you may hear it on this station here. So.
Yeah. So and that's and then I'll pull it up on Shazam. I'll put it on my Apple, and then I'll mark it so that it comes up. So I've got a playlist of random songs that I've heard in movies and things.
Yeah.
That is now on my phone.
Or I just walk around the Walmart aisle and just wait for that song to recycle.
Oh gosh, you're like make it come back. Make it
Right.
Come back.
Look, I've done it too, and I listen to the Big Wally World radio, and you're walking around, and I hear a song, and I forget I have Shazam on my phone.
Oh, you got to get quick with it. I'm fast draw with the Shazam.
But I try to remember, so I'm humming, right? And so I'm like, and I'm listening, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to go ahead and try to find that song, and now I can't find it. So I'm over here, and I want to ask one of the workers because I don't want to get cussed out because they got to do their job.
Right.
And so then I'll be like, I'll just walk around. I just walk around Walmart, just wait till that song comes back on.
I didn't know that it would recycle it, but now it occurs to me, yeah, that would most certainly happen. Speaking of Walmart, the Walmart in Homewood had a second arson today.
Oh, the one off of Lakeshore, yes.
The one off. Did you see that?
I did. Somebody set a mattress on fire.
Was it a mattress?
Yeah, or maybe that was witnesses. One of the two. I think it was a mattress. Someone set a mattress on fire.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is wrong with people? This is the second time that and Homewood PD ain't playing. Okay, the first
No.
no.
Well, they got cameras everywhere, so they know.
Why would you do that? And the first people that did it, the BLM protesters who did it, and I covered that story start to finish. Don't even get me started on the Homewood BLM. We knew what happened. Any officer involved shooting is a tragedy. It's still a tragedy. Anytime someone's shot and killed, it's a tragedy. Even I'm going to stop it there. But BLM knew this young man was armed, knew that the police were doing the right thing. He was defending his own officer, was defending his own life, and yet they still used it to cause all sorts of havoc here in Homewood. Ticks me off to no end. But then the fact that people went to Walmart, this is the original one, not the today one, this morning one. The original one went, set up a shopping cart, put items in the shopping cart, then left the Walmart, put on a disguise, came back and lit the cart on fire. Not only are they facing charges here in the state, they got federal terrorism charges. They got federal arson charges. They're not playing about this. So there is no, in the press release, no motive, or it just says the fire was intentionally set by several suspects. But cameras everywhere. Did you not?
Several?
It says several suspects.
Right. That's what I'm saying, several. So did each one of them light something and then...
Maybe two of them carried the mattress over. In the first one, they were both working together. And then there was a gentleman. I see gentleman. There's a man and a woman. And although she uses they, them pronouns, that's a whole different, again. The first one, two worked together. And then she went back while he was in a getaway car. She went back in and actually lit the thing. But this day and age, you need to know there are cameras nearly everywhere. How do people not know this?
Yeah.
And even with, a mask on or whatever, they can still figure you out. It's a whole thing. So, and obviously based on what we know about the first arson, they knew the vehicle, they knew the time, they had all the things. We know that Walmart has cameras. How do we know that? Because we've seen the still shot of the first arson. Yahoos. There should be an increased penalty. There's an increased penalty for hate crimes. There should be an increased penalty for dumb crimes. We know that Walmart has cameras. How do we know? Because we just saw it. But at any rate, I get so frustrated with this. But yes, I don't even know how I got on the Walmart tangent. Oh, because you were walking on Walmart here in
Listening to music.
listening to music. Okay, going back to my Google searches. Yes, K-pop Demon Hunters is on the #1 most searched movie, and I'll admit I was like looking it up before I let my kids watch it, and then they watched it, and it was like, okay, we can have a lesson here. We can have a lesson in faith here, and I'm all for that. I still go back to the idea that TV, most entertainment these days is garbage. I did see yesterday that Disney is going back to originally to hand-drawn animation. And I am thrilled by this because this like computer-generated AI stuff is for the birds. It doesn't make for good cartoons. I want your original hand sketch. You can flip through the pages. Good cartoons. I don't want these like digital anime looking.
So what era of cartoon are you talking about? Like what?
Lion King, the original Winnie the Poohs, the original Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, good old fashioned Disney. Hand drawn, yeah, characters. And if you need to do a little automated here and there to improve the process, awesome. But I want some skill in this. It's like here the same. You listen to a lot of music. You know a true talented artist versus one who is using an auto-tune situation. And yes, you can auto-tune pretty much anyone. We've seen that, right? You can lip sync, you can auto-tune. We had the original Milli Vanilli back in our day. And now you've got artists who go wide and global and they ain't got no skill whatsoever. I want talented artists doing my cartoons, and I want good scripts. Okay, this tells you a little bit about me. I have never seen any of the 5 TV shows most Googled. The Hunting Wives, never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
The White Lotus, The Pit, The Summer I Turned Pretty. I have heard of that one. I haven't seen it. And Squid Game.
Okay, I know about Squid Game.
Haven't watched any of those.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's on regular TV or some of those are streaming. I know Squid Game is on Netflix.
Okay.
The Hunting Wives.
No idea what that is.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Dang, I feel so old.
Here's what I do. I watch the same shows on repeat. I just watched literally start to finish West Wing again. Because I can watch it with the kids in the room, and I know there's not going to be anything that I'm going to have to explain to them or worry about or whatever.
So I'm going to ask you something because you kind of piqued my interest on something. So what's your favorite era of like television? Because you said the cartoons, you said about Lion King.
Oh gosh.
Then you took it way back to like, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White.
Oh. No.
So like what
legit, we watch Full House. That's how yesterday I almost got the corgi puppy, okay?
Okay, so you're saying like 80s.
So that's like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, comedy you can't get away with today because somebody would say that's offensive, right? Like I old school. Now my kids can't watch some of it. Even Friends. My daughter wants to watch Friends, and I'm like, ooh, I didn't realize how promiscuous some of these cast members were in this show.
I mean,
but
there's a reason why people watched it. There's a reason why it was millions of views.
I was like, huh. But I like old Seinfeld. I like old, old shows that haven't gone, don't have plots where I'm like, oh,
I mean, they all had plots, but I mean
plots that make me roll my eyes and go, okay, quit trying to teach me. Don't lecture me in this show.
Well, they still, it was almost like a requirement. They had to have one episode about racism in it. So like, or children abuse or something like that.
Okay, the Cosby Show dealt with tough topics like racism and all sort of domestic violence. There would be different things that come up, but they dealt with it in a way that I'm not feeling awkward sitting next to my kids watching an episode. And funny was funny,
right?
Things you couldn't get away with now. And so I love old Bewitched, old Cosby Show, Full House, I love that genre of television.
Okay.
Now, what I haven't gone back to, do you remember MASH?
Mm-hmm.
I remember MASH. I don't know if they have that anywhere, but I would watch that.
Yeah. I used to play the game MASH.
The little where you do the loop. And oh, my God.
Yeah,
how old are you, AJ?
I'm older than you.
Are you? Barely. You got to be barely. I'm 44.
I'm 45.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, you got to be in that same generation if you were playing MASH.
I was playing MASH.
Okay. So I'm looking at the Google Trends, and I can tell you right now that that I am I am just not I am not with the cool kids. I don't know any of the songs, any of the entertainment. It's thoroughly entertaining to me how little I know of pop culture. The number one Googled song, Would by Taylor Swift, which I find hugely offensive. And even the non-explicit version for my kids, that was a no-go on that. Of the most Googled songs, by the way, 3 are from Taylor Swift's newest albums. I don't know what that says about us as a culture. Of the musicians that were most Googled, I can't tell you a song by any of the 5. Uh, D, the number 4, VD, David.
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 See,
David can't.
He's actually was in the news. I'm surprised you haven't heard about his name. But
Never heard this before in my life.
I don't know if he had anything to do with it, but it's still an ongoing case.
Cat's Eye, never heard of.
No.
Bad Bunny, I only know because he's doing the Super Bowl, and apparently he's a booger. Somber, and then Dochi, Do something. I got nothing. All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will we'll take your calls. If you have a favorite show that would probably not fly today, but be a good one, feel free to text in. I'll have AJ check those out or give us a call. Back in a second. April Marie filling in for Leland. Good afternoon, everyone. April Marie here, filling in for Leland. As I was watching, as I was looking this up, I went and pulled up the MASH, some information on MASH, and those were the good old days when you recognized that a man dressing like a woman was crazy, because that's what Corporal Klinger did. He was trying to get a medical discharge. These days, we take men who put on dresses and we elevate them to the highest offices of government. That's what they want. Talk about crazy. All right, Richard DeCup on line 2. How's it going, Richard?
So MASH streams the whole episodes on Hulu.
No. Okay, I literally I just got signed up for. I broke down and signed up for Hulu because they took Fuller House off of somewhere it was streaming and put it there.
And you can go into YouTube and find some of the episodes of the spinoff after MASH.
What was the spinoff? I don't remember the spinoff.
It was called After MASH. That's where Colonel Potter and Klinger and Radar ended up working in a VA hospital stateside after the war.
I don't know that I saw any of those. I might have to binge that now.
It didn't last very long, so there's not a lot.
Okay.
There was also a spinoff involving Radar specifically that didn't last but one episode.
Oh, it had a pilot, and that was it?
That was it. And the shows I tend to rewatch, I'm rewatching The Closer right now. And I have watched NYPD Blue, all 261 episodes through twice.
Wow.
And am considering doing it a third time.
NYPD Blue? I don't know that.
Yeah, and Hill Street Blues is another one I've watched more than one time.
Those two series right there.
NYPD. I have to look it up and see if I ever saw it. Yeah, that was like before Law and Order.
It was like the pre-clue or whatever. Before Law and Order and all that stuff.
See, Law and Order was good when it was first on, and then got a little woke on us.
Now, NYPD Blue and Law and Order is two separate animals.
Right.
No.
NYPD Blue's the one that Sipowicz in it. The guy that Dennis Franz played was an alcoholic cop at the beginning, and by the end of the series, he was a sergeant running the precinct and sober. And married, had a new baby, and a grown son that got killed in the episodes.
Okay. So, I have to look. I'll have to look. It's TV. One of the things I look for is the ability to have something on when my kids are home. Because I'll let them control the TV, and they'll watch age-appropriate things. But then sometimes I'm like, I can't take another episode of this. For the love of all that's holy, do not make me watch another, episode of Avatar or whatever it is they're looking at. And that's when I have to bring up the old shows that aren't too crazy.
Well, I with my prior career being retired, I still listen to audiobooks that are crime novels, and I listen to watch those shows and stuff because it just, in a way, it kind of keeps me sharp because some of those stuff, like NYPD Blue and Hill Street Blues, are procedurally correct for the era that they were made.
That makes sense.
The two are probably the most realistic law enforcement shows ever made. And now, Hill Street Blues was late 70s, early 80s, so it's kind of rough.
That's a little before my time. Just a tad bit. Well, I appreciate
was 10
you
years
calling.
old, 78, so.
There you go. Well,
yeah.
You take care. Hey, do you remember, did you ever watch Matlock or Murder, She Wrote?
Oh, yeah.
I loved those. Yeah. Absolutely loved it. Murder, She Wrote was one of my favorite. Golden Girls, they just don't make TV like they used to anymore. And I can look at these lists and I can go, no, I'm Googling the things that other people Googled. Like, would I be interested in that? And 5 out of 5, the answer is no. No, I have no desire to watch this nonsense that masquerades as entertainment. When I go to hotels, and I used to do it a lot. I used to travel so frequently for work. That was the only time I had TV because I haven't had cable TV. It's embarrassing. I'm going on 14 or 15 years of not having cable TV. And I only see it when I'm, stream here in the studio or if I'm in a hotel. And I look at the previews for shows and I'm like, that's a no-go. That's a no. Let's see. We've got Keith on the line. Hey, Keith, what's up?
My wife has gotten to watching this right here, and it's clean, and it's pretty decently well written. It's not nowhere near like the realisticness of the other shows, but it's Hudson and Rex.
Hudson.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's like made in Canada, and it's like, the some island in Canada. But it's like clean. You can have it on, and it's not like kids' TV. And it's a murder mystery. It's a cop drama, homicide, but it doesn't show the bodies all twisted up and torn up. It's not a lot of blood. It's, and it's got a friendly, beautiful German Shepherd in it, but it's not overly hokey.
All
So,
right.
and it's on the Up now. I tell you, the Up channel, whatever that is, Up Network, like everything that's on there, it's like you can leave it in there with like your grandmother and your child, and like you won't have. Typically, I haven't found anything that makes you cringe.
Okay,
So, if you're looking for that, that's where I would go.
that is exactly what I'm looking for because you just don't find it these days. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Keith. Tell your wife
No
I'm going to check
problem.
out her
Have
show.
fun.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Here's the thing. I talk about this a lot. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be so hard to find and clean music or clean TV. One of the most searched song of the year is a song Taylor Swift wrote about her boyfriend's junk. Like, what does that say about us as society? That is the number one search song. I got nothing. All right, feel free to call in with your recommendations or your thoughts on entertainment. We are switching gears from politics for a little while. It's the end of the year. Back in a second.